My ex-husband left me for another woman but wanted to come back to me after she was diagnosed with cancer. I'm 25 turning 26 tomorrow actually. Happy birthday to me I guess. We were high school sweethearts and married at 21. He's currently 27. I'm not sure where it went wrong honestly. We had our ups and downs sure, but I thought since we had been through so much already that our marriage could prevail. Boy was I mistaken. He started coming home late. 3 hours after his shifts would end, he'd come home smelling like strawberries and beer. I'd ask him and of course he'd deny. Nothing was confirmed until she messaged me on Facebook apologizing because she had a suspicion he was in a relationship but was too nervous to ask or pry. Everything blew up at that point. We filed for divorce and he left me to go start his new life with her. Why she stayed with him is beyond me, but it doesn't matter. I eventually came to terms with it. I didn't have any kids with him, so it's not like I had to keep thinking about him. I started a photography business and even started flirting with a cute guy at my work. Felt like life was great up until this point. This morning he called me 5 times at 1 a.m. from Snapchat. I honestly don't use it, so I forgot he even had me on there. I finally answer, ready to tear him new one, but he's just sobbing. I asked him what he wanted and he says that a while back his fiancée got a pretty serious diagnosis of cancer. He did not specify what kind. I apologized and said he had my condolences but that I was confused why he was calling me since we hadn't talked in forever. He says he just wanted to vent. I was super annoyed but I let him talk. For 20 minutes he goes on about their relationship problems, his alcohol abuse, etc. After that, he goes quiet for a minute and then says, "I love you Sarah. My life is crap and I need you please." I hung up the phone. I was too tired to deal with that mess, but then he sends a long text basically saying that he wants to be there for Megan, but doesn't want to continue having a relationship with someone who is dying. I told him he was a piece of crap for even considering leaving her after her diagnosis, plus how would she feel if she knew he felt this way? He said I was twisting his words and that since she didn't know she'd never be hurt by it, he was just tired of pretending to be the loving and caring boyfriend everyone thought of him as for staying with her. She was driving him mental and had basically become a different person. He then proceeded to beg me over and over to get back together. I finally had enough of the drunk, screen recorded the entire convo, and blocked him. I've sent the screen recording to every account on Facebook that I could find that had her name and picture in hopes she will see it. She deleted the account she originally messaged me from. If you read this far, I'm sorry you did. This has been hurting my heart and head all day. I feel somewhat better getting this all out. I just feel like I'm getting caught up into something that I shouldn't but also should do more for her. I am very much jealous of my husband's ex-wife. I'm 40 female and very much jealous of my husband's 50 male ex. Our relationship started with an affair. I know it was wrong. Their marriage was on the rocks and my husband wanted to end it. When she, 48 female, learned about the affair, she didn't scream or shout at me. She was rather calm. She only asked me if I truly loved her husband. I said yes. She told me that if I am going to be a part of my husband's life I better treat her kids, 19 female, 16 male and 14 female, with respect and not push them to accept her. She didn't even create any hassle in the divorce. Things were tough. My husband's parents and friends really criticized us and his parents almost disowned him. If it wasn't for his ex they would have went with it, but his ex convinced them to not cut them off. Their parents did forgive my husband but I still feel like an outsider to them, but they do love our kid, 4 male. My husband's ex is very different. She never held a grudge against me, always pushed her kids to have a relationship with their dad. His oldest doesn't talk to him because of the divorce and it always hurts my husband that his daughter wants nothing to do with them. The rest of them are good. They do not love me but they are very civil. She never badmouthed me or called me a homewrecker. She did her best for the kids. She still tries her best so that her oldest daughter has a good relationship with her dad. I used to think she is a silly woman for not holding a grudge. She was always nice to me. When I was pregnant she first congratulated me and even though she wasn't invited to my baby shower, she sent me a diaper genie as a gift. I always felt guilty that I hurt such a pious woman. To make it more complicated, she is in a relationship with my cousin, 45 male. My parents love her. Uncle and aunt love her. Even my cousin's kids love her. She never discriminated between her kids and mine. She always sends some cookies or extra food for my son with her kids whenever it is their visitation time. She even met my son and treats him like her own. For the longest of time I wondered why she is like this. Is she trying to win her husband back? I even asked her why she doesn't hate me when I was her husband's mistress. She told me she doesn't see the point because whether or not she hates me her marriage was over anyways. I am jealous of her. She is not just beautiful but also graceful. I know I was very much younger than her when my husband started the affair but I can say she is much more better looking than I am, even if I took her place in her husband's life, but I can never be her. I don't know how to forgive my boyfriend for what his friend did to me. My boyfriend and I have been living together for a little over a year. A few times a month, he'd invite his friends over to play video games. I didn't mind, but there was one particular friend I always felt very uncomfortable around. He'd make inappropriate comments at me and touch me unnecessarily but try to be slick about it. I told my boyfriend several times I don't feel comfortable around this friend. I asked him if he could not invite his friend to our home. I asked if they could go play video games at another friend's house who lives alone and isn't far from us. He would say okay, but never actually do it, and the boys would be over again several times a month. I was home alone a couple of weeks ago and my boyfriend was on a work trip. His friend stopped by and said my boyfriend sent him over to pick up the PlayStation 5 so he can take it to another friend's house so they can play. My boyfriend didn't give me a heads up that the guy would be coming over or anything. I told him to stay at the door and I would bring it. He didn't listen and came in anyway. I don't want to give details, but he essayed me and a neighbor heard the shouting and came to help. The guy has been arrested. My boyfriend flew back from his work trip immediately and came to be with me. I asked him if he actually told the guy to go to our house and he said yes he did, but he forgot to warn me. I got angry and told him I specifically told him many times that I was uncomfortable around that friend and he didn't take me seriously. He cried and said he was so sorry and that it's all his fault. He's been trying to make it up to me. He's done everything right, but I can't help but still blame him a bit. Had he taken me seriously, this wouldn't have happened. He never listened to me or took my complaints seriously and I really resent him for that. I don't know if we'll be able to go back to how we were. I don't know how I'll ever be able to see him the same. I feel terrible because he really is trying his best now and I feel like I'm taking it all for granted, but I don't know how to stop feeling like this. I want to move out and never see him or this apartment again. Today I messed up. I introduced my boyfriend to Minecraft. Background: I have a long-term partner and a boyfriend of over a year. My partner is on the asexual spectrum. We're really good together except for the bedroom. He was never this bad when we started, but his drive got lower and lower till it was a few times a year. This was causing resentment on my end and frustration, constant asking on his end. So, as a solution, we opened the relationship for me. My boyfriend is really nice and he and my partner have become friends. My boyfriend and I take any opportunity we can to get intimate as we both live with other people, so either I go to his when his roommate is away or he comes to mine when I'm alone. That brings us back to today, or should I say the past month. For my birthday I wanted to play Minecraft. My boyfriend didn't like the game. He made it clear it's not his kind of game, and made it clear he's playing it because of us. We started playing, all three of us. At first when we'd get alone time and we'd spend it playing Minecraft, I didn't think too much of it, but when I sat there throwing hints, saying, everyone will be back in 2 hours, and then playing bedroom songs, and he still wasn't moving, I knew I messed up. My partner had come home by then and by this point I said, screw it, I'm taking care of myself and went upstairs. Currently, the two of them are downstairs playing Minecraft and I've gone back to being in a relationship with my toys. I messed up Reddit, I messed up. My boyfriend and his overly attached female friends. Am I wrong for feeling upset by my boyfriend spending alone time with women that he has made love with before? For context, the first one, we'll call her Rachel. They have been friends for years and he has been intimate with her a few times before meeting me. When I met him he told me they had never been intimate before, but eventually admitted to it. I told him that I was uncomfortable with the way that things were between them and that I wanted him to set boundaries. He had a key to her house, would sleep there sometimes, she's picked him up from work and they hung out etc. He claimed to understand my feelings and said he'd set boundaries, but hasn't. I've been so paranoid that it got to the point of me reaching out to her myself and asking her about their relationship. She claimed that she didn't even know that we were together, but he said that's not true and showed me the screenshots to prove what he was saying. Now I'm being blamed for making a bad first impression and now she apparently doesn't like me because I approached her about him. She pretended like she said nothing bad about him during our conversation and made me look bad to him for calling him a liar and saying he sounded like a user based on her comment about him, when he lied. Don't do bad things if you don't want to be called bad titles. No. I don't want to control who he is friends with, but I feel like it's just not appropriate for a man in a relationship to be hanging out with another woman at 12 o'clock at night in her house. He's done that 2 to 3 times and each time I get upset. He knows it hurts my feelings and makes me feel uncomfortable. The second one, we'll call her Kwan. When we met he told me that this girl and him were just friends, that she had a busy daily schedule so they hung out at night sometimes or texted etc. But that was quickly revealed to not be the complete truth because one night she kept calling him and I told him to answer the phone and basically it came out that he was sleeping with her before me and that she had feelings for him. She was hurt that he chose to be with me instead of her and I was completely in the dark about all of it. I thought that they were just friends. It was revealed that they were planning a kid together just last year. After that phone call, they hadn't spoken for days. It's been weeks since that and now she has popped back up again asking him for favors and acting like everything is normal again. I just don't get it. I don't understand how I'm supposed to believe that this is normal. Last one, we'll call her Naomi. I'll start this by mentioning that they haven't been intimate together as far as I know. They've both denied it, but I am still mentioning her because I feel very uncomfortable about her based on her behaviors. She has been very territorial and jealous when it comes to him and has admitted to being upset about him spending more time with me. I have expressed that it made me feel uncomfortable and he claimed that he would handle it, but she would call him in the middle of the night as well as send him videos on TikTok about attachment styles and just acted like she had some sort of control over him, like she was more than a friend. And as if that it isn't enough, their relationship makes me feel really uncomfortable in the first place because she is only 18. He claims that they have never crossed that line, but she is just way too comfortable around him and I just don't understand what a 28-year-old man needs an 18-year-old friend for. My last issue with her was a few nights ago when I came to his place and she was there. It was almost 1 in the morning and she was there venting about some bull crap that happened between her and her other friend. I freaked out and he had to walk her out and we all spoke and she had some dismissive crap to say as if she doesn't see the issue with her actions even though I clearly heard her telling him she wanted to be at my level of importance in his eyes. Like seriously? My bottom line is, I know that he can't take back things that he did before he met me, but at the same time I feel like he is not considering my feelings at all, not moving as if he is committed to me and that really bothers me. I made my boundaries and deal breakers clear and they were as follows. No late night meetups. Let me know prior to hanging out with them just out of simple consideration and respect, and to not ever make me feel like I'm not being prioritized because of them. So far he has broken all of those boundaries and turned around and called me controlling. He's even gone as far as to say that I pushed him to be closer to them and has avoided spending as much time with me because apparently I'm not as fun to be around anymore. I don't know what to do now. Literally just got into an argument about Naomi wanting him to see a movie with her, and when I asked if I could come along, he made it seem like I was intruding on their plans when I told him from earlier in the week that I wanted to see a movie this weekend when he's off. Apparently she doesn't like me and feels disrespected by me because I approached her about her being inappropriate with him and sending him stuff that girlfriends and boyfriends. It is laughable that an 18-year-old girl gets to determine whether she likes me or not when she has disrespected my relationship, and I'm here trying to compromise and be a third wheel on a date with my own boyfriend. I feel like I'm constantly competing for my own boyfriend and he doesn't seem to notice that that's even happening. Either that or he just simply doesn't give a damn and I don't know how to feel about any of it anymore. I have had exes that have female friends and they set boundaries, but this guy just doesn't seem to realize how damaging and how abnormal and overly attached these women have been. I find it so weird, and to add insult to injury he has started accusing me of making love with one of my male friends, obviously deflecting. I have seen my guy friend once during the time I've even known my boyfriend. We barely even talk, but I'm getting with him? It's nuts. I need some advice at this point because I feel like I am losing my mind over this. My boyfriend had trio with my sister and best friend. Last week I found out my boyfriend had a trio with my best friend and sister in my apartment while I was fast asleep in the next room. This happened about 2 weeks prior. My best friend decided to come clean as she felt bad about it. However, she also told me after they got finished, my boyfriend and sister jumped into the shower together and according to her they did it again in the shower all while I'm still asleep in another room. My sister had asked her to join in again but my best friend said no and went to sleep. Since finding out I've cut off my boyfriend and my sister but to know if I can keep my best friend in my life, although she finally came out about it and showed remorse, I'm still hurt that she made love with him, and don't know if I could trust her again. I confronted my sister and boyfriend, and they originally denied it but have since told the truth, that they had made love twice. Although I suspect it's been more than that, I believe now they were getting together constantly during our relationship, but they claim it was only twice. I can't believe they acted totally normal the following morning, like nothing had happened. My best friend was acting strange but I thought nothing of it. Anyways, my sister had reached out to me through a fake account and instead of an apology or showing remorse for what she did, she said since I didn't want a relationship with her anymore she may as well go ahead and be in a relationship with my now ex. She then proceeded to tell me how my ex told her that lovemaking was better with her, and how he thought she was the hotter sister and even told me they did it in the rear in the shower. She's disgusting. My boyfriend has also tried reaching out to me begging for me back, but a family member informed me yesterday that my sister has tagged my ex in a relationship status on Facebook and put a picture of them together as her profile picture. Even uploaded a picture of them in bed together. He was half exposed and so was she, but the disrespect is insane. I'm heartbroken and will never speak to my sister again. Now what should I do with my best friend? Should I continue my friendship with her or cut her off too? I need help please. Update: my boyfriend had trio with my sister and best friend. Aside from being in therapy and cutting myself off from everybody, I decided to hear my ex-bestie out over the phone and according to her, she wanted to tell the truth about everything. She's revealed that my sister and my ex have actually been messing around behind my back for 2.5 years and that my sister is currently 3 months pregnant with his child. She's aborted 3 of my ex-boyfriend's babies before deciding to keep the latest one, and apparently they have been in love with each other for a while and she's hated the fact that he continued to be with me. She really viewed me as his side chick and her the girlfriend even though they were sneaking around behind my back. She's so delusional. Anyways, the baby she is pregnant with now was planned and they had intended on telling me it was the result of a one-night stand with a complete stranger and she was gonna raise the baby by herself. They really thought they was gonna raise their baby together behind my back. My sister enjoyed deceiving me the whole time and set up the trio to be caught since she is pregnant and no longer wants to share my ex-boyfriend. Ex-bestie admitted she slipped me sleeping pills as an attempt for me not to wake up and catch them in the act as she felt bad about their plans, which I'm so pissed about because who in the world does she think she is doing that to me? Next is when I struggled not reaching through the phone and unaliving her. Aside from admitting she has feelings for my ex, she admitted she enjoyed the trio and it was the best lovemaking she's ever had. She went straight into detail about everything and how amazing it was. So I hung up the phone and blocked her. She is such a trashy person. I want to forget they all exist, which I've been doing until last week when a mutual friend of ours reached out to let me know that she has continued being intimate with my ex and my sister and they are now in a poly relationship and bestie is trying to get pregnant as she wants to be pregnant same time as my sister. I can't believe she was trying to mend our friendship but starting a poly relationship with them and told me she had stayed clear of them. Apparently going by her social media posts she feels really bad having betrayed me yet again and hopes our friendship can be mended in the future. They have even posted statuses asking friends if they should reach out to me to ask if I want to come along to my sister's ultrasound appointments and baby shower which they have arranged for about 2 months' time. Just sick in the head, all 3 of them. So anyways, that's my life right now. Going to continue going to therapy to keep me on straight and narrow and prevent me from doing something I may regret. Got sexually harassed at work. Now his daughter says I broke their family. So I 20 female just started at my new job in April. It's a pretty cool job and I loved it. I went through training for the first whole week and it went smooth. The people were super nice, but I was the only female. I wasn't too concerned, because I was in the military in a maintenance field so I know how to hold my own and roll with jokes. My second week came around and this man, late 40s, came to me and took me under his wing. We will call him James, and I hit it off well. Apparently I went to high school with his 2 sons and my son is a month younger than his grandson. James was the type of guy who flirts with any woman. Others explained that it was all jokes and not to worry, because he would never get physical. James even reassured me that he is all talk. Well, it wasn't just talk. On my 6th day of work, he and I worked overtime so he could show me how to test an item we work with. We were joking and I was rolling with everything he said, but not exactly encouraging it. For example, he would say something like, "You're amazing, you know that? Like for real. I love you," and I would say thanks, I try. This is how it started, not a big deal. He then thought it would be okay to slap my butt. I have a bad history and it really affected me and I went to the bathroom and cried for about 10 minutes, and went home. The next day, I told the man who trained me what happened. Ironically, this was the same guy who told me James wouldn't get physical, and he talked to James. James apologized to me and told me he crossed a line and said he would understand if I went to higher ups and reported him. I was still shaken up and told him it was all right, explained my history, and told him not to cross that line again. Things only escalated after that. He would tell me things like, "I want to lick your man's thing just to get a taste of you. I want to FK the personality out of you," and would talk about making babies together and running away. I learned that I'm not the first he's done this with. I asked why James still worked there and others explained that it was because he's been working there for 16 years and everyone is scared to say something. I also asked if anyone has told his wife, who literally works in the same building, and everyone said they didn't want to be the person to tell a wife that her husband is being a creep. Word got around of what he said and did, and our boss came to me and told me to make a report, so I did. I had the last week off so that I wouldn't be there during the investigation. His daughter, 14 or 15 female, added me on Facebook. I didn't know it was her but she had the same last name. I added her back to look at her profile and there was nothing, so I removed her. I then got a friend request on Snapchat so I accepted and asked her if I know her. She said no but I know you. It then led to her asking what happened. I explained I couldn't talk about it and she said I'd rather know because that's my father, and whatever happened broke my family even more, so thank you. I left her on read because I just didn't know what to say. I know I did the right thing for me and all of the women in the past and the future. Hopefully he learns and never does this again, but part of me feels bad because he took me under his wing and gave me great life advice, but I don't think that outweighs what he did and said.
I feel unclean now after my shift at work. I 20 male work as a lifeguard at a water park. I haven't gotten the opportunity to take my certification test for this year yet, so they have me running water slides. I was giving my safety spiel when this older woman, probably around 40 to 45, asked me if I was going to pull her up if she drowned. When I said that I would, thinking she was nervous, she kind of let out a little laugh and said that she would keep that in mind. I was a little uncomfortable by that, and I mentioned that it was my job to do that, but she just kept going. A few more people went by and she wasn't on my mind at all until a group came up that got stuck at the top of my slide. When this happens, I have to push their tube through and it is not always easy. This group wouldn't budge, so I eventually just buckled down and got into the water at the top to dislodge them. My shirt got wet and then I heard the woman a few groups back telling me that if my shirt got wet, I could just take it off and give it to her, saying that she wouldn't mind if I used my muscles on her. I once again reminded her that I was just doing my job, but I was so uncomfortable. When her group came up, she went to sit in her tube and then she did a fake little stumble, and fell into the tube, and in order to catch herself she grabbed onto my upper thigh and she squeezed. I've had people grab me to catch themselves, that isn't the problem. If she was actually falling I would chuckle a little bit and move on, but I heard her laugh afterwards. It sounded like she was laughing for getting away with something that she wasn't supposed to do. I know it sounds dumb because I'm a grown man, I'm 6'2" with a full head of hair and a beard, but she made me feel so small, so disgusting that even typing this out is making me want to vomit. I ignored it, thinking that because I'm a man that it couldn't possibly be a big deal, but I got put at the same slide today and I spent all day terrified that she was coming back, so I talked to my supervisor about working a different slide tomorrow. I just feel so disgusted. I know that what she did is relatively minor compared to what other people go through, but it's never happened to me and I hate it, and I hate that this stranger holds so much influence over me just through this one action. I'm crying right now typing this, which I haven't done in years. I didn't cry when this happened, or when I told my supervisor, but typing it out right now is killing me.